So we'll go ahead and bring the meeting to order. We just want to start with introductions. Sandra, will you start us off?
Sandra Jones.
Owen Friend Gray.
Kathy Glassman.
John Decker.
Michelle King.
Thomas Budkevich.
Michael Kelly.
Awesome, thank you. All right, so we have minutes from 4:14. I think we need to accept.
I move that we accept the minutes as written.
Thank
I
you.
second that motion.
All right, all those in favor of accepting the minutes from 4:14?
Can I vote? I was here last week, last time.
These are from April.
These are for 4:14.
You can vote if you want.
No.
No.
I thought you were talking about the unofficial fees.
Yeah, we'll do those next.
Yeah, but I was thinking she could vote because she was here.
The four,
For the one she was here
The
on,
four
yes.
fourteen.
Yeah.
Not for the 414 one.
Oh, not the 414 one, right.
Right.
Technically, you're allowed to vote, but it's better to abstain.
I don't want to get into it.
What's going on?
But she is for the 9-1 one.
Yes. Yep.
Not so bad. Sorry, I'm late.
That's okay. We were just accepting the minutes from 4:14, so I'll just ask again, all those in favor of accepting the minutes from 4:14?
Aye.
I
All right, minutes accepted. Great, and then one abstain, well, she's gonna record all that, so.
And then 9-1.
And then the last meeting, 9-1?
Yeah, the first, I move we accept those minutes too.
I second.
Awesome, all those who accept, the minutes from 9-1, say aye, or raise your
Aye.
hand.
Aye.
Awesome.
Aye.
All right, accepted. Okay. So, we don't have a Board of Selectmen rep here. Do we wanna do the school first?
That makes sense.
Right.
to me.
Okay. So, I got an email today with the, documents that you have in front of you in your packet from the school board, from the Nottingham SAU 107. Carol was kind enough to email everybody a copy of that, and the town was gracious enough to make us copies. So, since we don't have a board rep right now, Kathy, would you mind walking us through this, or pointing
Okay.
out anything of significance, or?
Let me see if I can find my copy from last time. I made some notes on it. The substitute teacher salaries, a huge increase because we couldn't get substitute teachers. And so we had to increase the rate of pay, as well as having lots of COVID teachers and.
Can you tell us,
paraprofessionals.
what line you're referring to on the
Okay,
page?
it's,
That
the
would
first
be,
page, page 1,
okay,
and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 from the top of the second group.
all right,
So-
substitute teacher salaries.
All right, let's read the lines so that, Lorraine can,
Substitute teacher salaries,
5120.
yes.
The account
Yeah.
number.
All right, so we're going from 37.5 to 132?
Yes.
So Kathy, is the rate of absences the same?
No, because we had so many COVID people.
Yeah, so should the school tighten their teachers calling out of work policy? Because I'm wondering how much of this, you're going over by almost $100,000. How much of that 100,000 or 94,000, how much of that is that you had to offer more money to get the substitute teachers, and how much more is because teachers were taking more time off?
Well,
I know, I'm wondering for the breakdown, is it 50-50, is it 80-20?
I don't know that
So
answer,
that was
Tom.
budgeted 37.5 last
But I do know that,
time.
you know, at the beginning of 2/21, if you had COVID today, you tested positive today, you couldn't come back for 10 days, okay? So that meant a whole week or more of the school out. So that was not a choice, that was a requirement.
And that still is a requirement, isn't it?
Yeah, is the requirement different now?
Yes, I'm not sure, even if someone in your household.
I think the time is shortened
the
though, right? It's
time
not
is
10,
shortened,
I think
right,
it's 5
right.
days.
So that should make a huge difference.
Have y'all noticed anything about a trend this year that would lead you to believe we're gonna see the same type of thing this coming year? Or has it died down, do you know?
I'm sure it's died down because I spend a lot of time in the school, and I see many fewer
Substitutes?
in the building.
Okay.
Does the school have their own testing program, or do you rely on like teachers to test themselves with rapid tests?
Both. If you come to school today, you're a teacher, you're not feeling too well, you can go to the nurse and she'll do a rapid
She'll do a test for you.
and she'll give you the results.
But if a teacher just calls into the school one morning and says, "Hey, I got COVID, I can't come in for 10 days," do you guys require like actual proof of a positive test or not?
I don't think so.
Okay,
You know, my job doesn't do that either, and I work for the government, and I'm really surprised by that, because I would think
I'm
that-
not. It's the government employees.
Well,
The
I would
government
think they would
employers
make them.
don't have the same incentives that private employers do to make sure that their employees show up, to avoid things like going $100,000 over paying for substitutes. So it sounds like maybe the school should look at, making sure that everybody that's taking time off is taking time off for legitimate reasons.
Well, and also,
But isn't
though,
there HIPAA?
that, they are only allowed so many 6 days a year that they get paid for, okay?
Does COVID count against those, or is there an exception for COVID?
No, there's no exception.
So after their 6 days, then they gotta take personal time, they get
No, they don't
I
get
think-
paid?
I think they have 13 days a year.
personal time total,
Yeah, I
between
think so.
sick and personal.
I believe so. And so, once you expand that, you're.
Yeah, yeah.
I have a question on the teachers' salaries themselves, so I mean, it doesn't surprise me that substitute teacher salaries is above because of the reasons you said, but, what concerns me more is teachers' salaries is almost $100,000 over budget.
Yeah.
Teachers' salaries
Yeah.
Line,
down 4
Line
point.
one.
Line 5110.
Yep.
Yep.
If you look at it, it says, down 4.39%.
So then, am I reading
It's
this?
in
That
the
means
no,
you're
it's in the
over budget by
negative.
4%.
You're- yeah,
Gone the
you're
wrong
over
direction.
budget.
So, right, because you told us that, and I'm seeing this as,
You're
yeah,
seeing
you're
it
seeing it
right.
right.
yeah, okay, because I'm like comparing it to the substitute.
I had to do that too.
Teacher because it's negative, it's
Yeah.
like.
It's just backwards,
it's
or how you would think it
right,
would be.
It's backwards from what I.
You think it would be
That's the new software
showing
program.
150 over.
Yeah.
or-
So do we know why the teachers' salaries went over, considering all the raises and everything were baked into the last budget?
I think that was positions.
What does that mean?
So I
That
looked
means,
at,
let's say I'm a kindergarten teacher, I'm at the top step. I retire and they hope to hire someone at a lower step, okay? They can find somebody to hire someone else at a higher step. Or I'm at a low step. I leave and they have to hire someone at a higher step.
And the step thing, this is the stuff that's set in these union contracts?
Yes,
The ones that are negotiated in secret and not allowed the public access to?
yes.
Those ones?
Just
Yeah,
like
okay.
the American Federation of Teachers and the NTA and the Teamsters, all
Yeah.
the unions in the country.
just to piggyback on that, I was talking to John before the meeting on them, and I thought we were just accounting for the, like, what we had budgeted from last year. That's why I was so surprised, like online, well, that's not a really big one, let's see. The librarian salary on page 6, line 22205110. It's over budgeted by $1,560. And then there was another one I was curious about too.
That is that's probably, increased because she took a course.
She took a course?
She might have taken a course, and if you take a course to go, and you go from, let's say, a master's plus 15 to a master's plus 30, which is a different step,
She would get that increase
might
in the
get an
middle of the year?
Yes.
Okay.
It's, gets in the middle of the year?
No,
even? No, it's just that,
it's
she
at the-
took it at end of last year and you guys didn't account for it?
No, it's, let's say I take a course
Yeah.
in September,
Okay.
okay? I don't get reimbursed for it, or the school doesn't pay me for it till I have at least a B, okay? So I might not finish that till January. So that year, I won't get an increase.
So we're reimbursing for that?
No.
Well, that
What
you
you
would-
reimburse, what happens is the
She would
next
get
year I
Goes
more
to
or
the
less
following
get,
year.
All right.
okay?
But,
Just think we
That
would have
should have been-
accounted for that.
right, that should have been.
If it was
budgeted
a
for.
future budget, but
But
yeah.
if you don't know it, you don't have to get permission to take a course.
Kathy, I have a question about that, about getting permission. Are these courses that the school is requiring the teachers to get? Like they need them
Is
to
it
do something?
voluntary?
Some of them are, and some of them are not.
So that the teachers can just choose to take a course?
No, it has to be in their field related to their job description.
But the school's not the one saying that you gotta take this course. We need you to take it, the teacher can decide to take the course
Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
They have
and then
to
get
do a-
reimbursed?
They have to do a certain level of what CCUs, right?
Yes.
Yeah, continuing
So-
credit.
And then, but they can use other, depends on what courses they choose that count towards their CCUs, and some of them count towards a master's or whatever. But the steps are like, master's plus 15,
Yeah, well, there's a
something like that.
bachelor's plus 15, maybe
true.
bachelor's plus 30, or master's plus 15. I don't think we go
And
higher
to
than
maintain
master's
your
plus 30.
certification,
You
you
need
need, in any of these,
150
in any
CEUs
professions,
every-
you need to maintain the required CEUs for your profession. So,
Okay.
usually people are allowed to choose courses that they feel will benefit them, but they need to be things that are directly related
To their profession.
their profession. A librarian probably wouldn't be taking a biochemistry course, for example.
Right, to get paid more.
Are there free options for satisfying these continuing education credit things?
Sometimes.
Does the school encourage teachers to take the free options? I'm assuming options range from free to, at an actual university, which could be quite expensive.
Well, the free options are usually within the school for 2 hours of CEUs or something like that.
They'd take little courses or something.
Next Tuesday, I believe, is an in-teacher workshop, and that won't cost the teachers anything.
Well, it sounds like the school should encourage teachers to use these options that are very low cost than to go out to universities and things like that.
But that means that they're not taking college or master's credit courses.
So that would not work towards them getting another degree?
It will work
Or a
towards them
raise.
getting another
Oh,
degree.
so that would be really good for the school then, because when they get another degree, the contract stipulates that the school has to pay them more, right?
That's right, but the children.
Okay, so
also-
if
but
if they would take the,
children-
yeah.
Just like you, Tom,
Yeah.
have your doctorate, so you get paid more.
It's the same
You'd be
thing.
surprised.
And
I know, you
hopefully,
work for
You'd
a
be
university,
surprised.
so.
and hopefully, that you are worth it because you have more education. And that's why teachers take more courses.
I get the incentive, I just wish it was like budgeted or I guess
Well,
accounted for
some of it
somewhere,
is
because it
budgeted.
is.
It should be in the budget
It
somewhere.
is in the
adds-
budget.
it all adds up.
It is in the budget, but what's not in the budget is, let's say I am master's plus 30. Master's plus 15, and I hit the 30 this year. I have to take it and pass it, get a
No,
B,
we get that.
before the budget season starts to get it next year.
I think maybe next year it would be, I don't know how you guys feel, but it would be appreciated even if we had, say, we have X, Y, and Z teachers who have taken courses. If they pass their courses, this is how much money that's gonna change the budget, because it's like, you can't account for that.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, I get what
because-
you're saying.
Because part of the problem is that the
But it's
school
just not
budget
accounted
is
for.
so far out. So right now, we're planning the budget for not this current year, but next year. You know, the next school year, starting in next June. So if somebody changes their, that's track, right? If they change their track in May, you know, we're already
Yeah.
past the budget season and they don't know it, and I get that, it's difficult. I mean, you can just do so much.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it's almost $100,000. You think there'd be some sort of,
Well, this was the library
It isn't
one,
the
right?
$100,000.
well, in
It
teacher
is,
salary,
it certainly is.
On the teacher side, it
Right,
was
it's right there.
$100,000.
Yeah.
94,000.
It's $100,000. We should be anticipating this,
At least a
or
plus and
or have a
minus.
heads up, or some sort of
But-
bellwether for it.
But we also talked about something else that it could be, is if we have to hire a teacher in June or July. Like we had a teacher that we did not have, that's in a critical shortage area, okay? So there are very few of them floating around, okay? We managed to find one when our math and science teacher in the middle school resigned last year, okay?
Right, it was,
We had to hire somebody, or we wouldn't have somebody for the kids. And especially in the middle school, it's required that you have that teacher. They couldn't hire me as a kindergarten through 8th grade teacher to teach 7th and 8th grade math and science.
What stands in the way of that?
What stands in the way of that?
Why, you said they couldn't hire you, why not?
Because I really don't have the qualifications to teach 7th and 8th grade math. I got my teaching certificate in 1970, Tom.
Well, algebra hasn't changed since 1970.
No,
This-
but-
I'm teaching your kid
but-
math these
Yeah.
days. Holy
What
smokes.
your requirements are very different, Tom, to teach K through 8 in 1970 than they are to teach.
These are the state mandated requirements?
So,
Yeah, can we get back to the budget?
okay.
yeah, I'm
let's-
trying to get
let's-
back onto
yeah,
the
let's-
budget item. Is this, in terms of anticipations, is this something we've seen with some consistency over the
Yeah,
years?
the last
Not
few,
the
the 3
substitutes.
years I've been on, not the substitutes necessarily, but pretty much any prediction that they make, it seems to
It's
always
been
go
off,
over. For
always.
example,
Salaries, do we have a standard percentage that we've seen?
So,
Is there something we could build into the budget
Well, yeah.
anticipating overages?
Well, that's what we've tried to do the last like 5 years I've been here.
I
and
brought
they've
this up
never-
about the last teacher's contract, when it was put in front of the town
always
in
been
the,
that
the warrant article, they put the estimated cost of the teacher's contract, and they had listed it at around 94,000, I think the number was, each year. And the actual costs that we were seeing the last few years were like 120, 160.
They've gone
And I
up
said, well, why did you told the taxpayers it was only gonna be 94,000, that's what they were approving.
Budget, though. I
That's
know
what,
we're-
well, this is very critical.
the
This
line
is
by
something we're
line.
always getting under estimates, and someone just needs to put a fudge factor in there, because every year we're over by some line on here gets over by a whole bunch, and someone goes, oh, well, we couldn't anticipate that people quit their job and we have to rehire people.
We have people that drop dead. We had a woman that dropped dead last year. How do you anticipate that, Tom? And you have to fill in her spot.
I can guarantee you, everyone in this room will drop dead at one point.
Yes.
So Kathy, I mean, I guess it would be good if we had just a little more details as to what, you know, what changed in those lines.
Yes,
So-
okay, but we also have to, I haven't
Yeah,
had a lot of
I
time
know,
to look
I
over
know,
this,
that's
okay?
fine.
And we also are still getting records
Mhm.
from SAU 44,
I know,
okay? So I will do my best,
Yep.
and Carol will do her best, but I'm a stand-in here. so-
No, we understand, but I mean, we have
Okay,
legitimate
and I'm-
questions.
But I'm trying to help
Kathy,
you out.
I understand you are, but we're asking questions too. Like, I wanted to move on from the substitute and teacher salaries. I think it's page 7,
Yeah.
2320-5110. The superintendent's salary isn't accounted for in here, and I was just curious as to,
Wasn't it someplace else?
yeah, if it is someplace else. I just wanted to know if we accounted for
It
that
was-
anywhere.
It's in here, because I
Okay.
So
saw
what,
it
what
last
line
night.
number was it? What page and line number?
Page 7, line number 320.5110.
Just a little more than halfway down.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what it should be is like a whole nother section
Okay.
that had it and that,
See,
so that
these
it-
are all teachers, but there's also a principal's function and special ed and,
Is that in there only $7,000 because this is basically, when did they hire the new superintendent?
the new superintendent.
June 1st.
Oh, well, that's,
before that.
no, he couldn't come on board until July 1st.
Okay, so,
But we hired him
yeah.
as a contracted specialist.
so that's probably what the 7,000
Yes.
is. And then the previous superintendent stuff would be SAU, right?
Yes.
So that'd be somewhere else baked into a big SAU number.
Okay.
That's my guess.
Yes.
Where's Paris salaries on here?
Paraprofessional salaries, you'll find those, well, it
That's on
says.
page
On the
one.
page one, I thought.
Right under teacher's
Oh,
salaries.
there it is.
And you
So
have
I noticed,
23% overage there.
yeah, so has there been big issues at the schools with paras? I didn't hear anything at the school board meeting last night.
We don't have all the parents we
I'll
need.
use
Yeah.
We're having, we had a
yeah.
parent that died last year, okay?
So you've been operating with not as many as you would have liked to have.
That's correct.
But everything seems to be going well. I didn't hear any discussion at the
but-
school board meeting about the
But-
not having enough
but
paras.
what's happening is paras, most of the time, are one-on-one required by the federal government for special ed services.
Well, if the federal government is requiring it, are you saying you're not in compliance right now?
We have to move people,
Oh, so if you move people around, then you can be in compliance?
yes.
Okay, so I guess then we could reduce in the upcoming budget that we get, we could reduce it down 20% because very clearly they've been getting by with this number for the paraprofessionals. It hasn't been causing a problem and it hasn't been bringing them out of compliance. So I think we should remember when we get the proposed budget that this is a line that we should look at for a possible reduction.
Paraprofessionals
Yeah.
And the substitutes.
Well, I don't know about the substitutes. We're definitely gonna have to look at it if they're gonna continue with their attendance policies.
Well, yeah,
But
I
it
mean,
sounds
it
like
would
the
just be nice
COVID
to
numbers
hear,
have changed,
right?
yeah.
It would be nice to hear that the trend is not looking to mirror what we're looking at right now this
Yeah,
year, you know what I mean?
really anything with more than like a single digit on this last column of percent difference is something to look
To
at,
look
right?
at, For sure. No, I definitely wanna question, you know, what we're looking at.
Do we know why the, bottom portion of the page, page one, 5561,001, and then 5563,000, the tuitions to the two high schools?
Oh, yeah.
Those are off by quite a bit too, but one's over, one's under, so
Well,
I'm sure they
what
balance, but I'm
happens
just curious
is-
what the difference is.
In this town, children have a choice.
Yeah.
Okay, I wanna go to Co-Brown, you wanna go to Dover.
Oh, do we
Okay.
just kinda guess the numbers? Oh, we would have to,
Well,
right?
but we ask the kids, right now, they're being asked to make their decision,
Mm.
okay? But
Sure, it doesn't always stick.
it doesn't stick.
Gotcha,
So
that makes sense.
we can't, you can ballpark it, and you can say, well, like,
That
we
would
have more
explain.
kids going to Co-Brown usually than go to Dover, okay? So you try to, and some years you have,
I'm sure kids switch and stuff too. No,
Switch,
that
you
makes
know.
sense. But that would also explain why one's over and one's
Mm,
under.
Yeah, yeah, they look like.
What's the
they want-
tuition, is the tuition the same?
No,
Or
it
what is
isn't.
what is it now?
I'm not sure.
Cause I know Co-Brown used to be a lot more, but then I remember it kinda
I
came.
think
It's
it's,
more, but we can't, Co-Brown will give you a figure soon, okay? But Dover has to go through the school committee
I
and
think
the
it
town
was whenever the
council and all
school-
that kind of stuff, so we get it later and later and later.
Is Co-Brown like a semi-private type something?
Yeah. It's an
It
academy.
is one of two, like Pinkerton.
Mm-hmm.
They are private public schools is what they call
So
them.
we get the figures from Co-Brown earlier than Dover. Dover takes longer because it's got more
yeah,
bureaucracy.
make its own
Yeah, that makes
decisions pretty
sense.
quick.
What was this line, just above there, 5442, contracted services, REG Ed,
Regular education.
okay? We're almost
Contracted
50,000
service.
over on that,
It was budgeted for zero, though.
budgeted
Yeah.
for zero, so What is that
The
line?
encumbrance is 0. And, but see, if you have.
No, it says
Yeah.
the percentage in the
GL.
budget, and the GL is 0, so that if the general ledger is 0, that means that there was 0 money budgeted for that, so we're in the negative 100% of that money.
I have a note here.
Okay, great.
Wrong lines is what it is, and our superintendent was gonna check into that because we asked him that very question.
Like the wrong entry or something? It
Yeah.
should have gone in another column.
Should have gone in another column or something like
So
that.
this was done by SAU 44, or,
Yes, because we didn't become
right,
SAU 107 until July 1st, and
Right.
this is all
That's-
prior to July 1st. So it's,
Is it prior to July first? Cause the report
Yeah,
says to
it
9:30.
ends-
Yeah,
Yeah.
July
ended
1st to
on
9:30.
on
June
July 1st.
No,
Okay.
from July
Yes,
to
but it is, but,
September 30th.
but these aren't all
But it's
September
not
30th.
September 30th, it's June
Fiscal
30th.
year.
It's the fiscal year.
Yeah, okay.
222.
So there's
Kathy,
not
I
3
got,
extra months.
I got a question on page 3, about 7 lines down or so. Special ed tuition, non-public HS.
Yes.
It was budgeted for $1, but $157,000
Yeah,
was spent.
wow.
Because a child moved into the school district that had special needs, we cannot accommodate that particular child, or maybe more than one child, and they have to have special.
So
housing.
We don't
one
budget for
student
it.
moved,
I said, I don't know.
one
I said
stu,
there
no, you
might-
said one,
there
and you
one
said,
or
yeah.
more. I'm
You have
not
to look at
sure.
last year's and see what last year's was. 'cause I
Right.
feel like that was.
Well, they budgeted $1,
To just put $1 in there?
because, I mean, it kind of sounds like
Because it
one
has to be a
student is.
placeholder.
No, I understand that, but if we're looking at previous years, there has to be some type of trend to at least
Yes.
put some dollar amount other than $1 in there. That would make,
I'm
that
not
would make sense.
sure.
I know, I'm just saying that it
We-
would be worth looking back on the previous
I'm
years
just
to see
always
what was in
stunned
there.
when we see these changes where one student moves in and we now have a $157 tuition charge, or last year.
I'm not sure it's just one student.
Well, I don't know if you can reveal that or not, but last year we found out from the principal or the temporary super, whoever was Nate Byrne last year, what his title was, he told us that one student, it was costing us somewhere, I think it was $54,000 in transportation
When they-
costs.
Transportation.
And
Yeah.
'Cause they were
transportation.
special
Yeah, for one
needs, so
student.
they
I thought it was
required
closer to 80.
It could have been.
But-
It was
but-
stunningly
but see,
large.
It's unbelievable, because they have to be transported to where they're getting their education.
So conceivably,
So sometimes, if you two gentlemen
From us?
are special ed kids, okay, and you live in Kingston, or Newton,
Sorry, that's just-
or Nottingham, whatever, and you have to be taken to Dover or somewhere else every day for your education, if you both can be picked up by the same bus, the two school districts split that cost. But if,
But we don't know if that's what's happening
but,
there.
no, you don't know. But last year, I do know we have an anticipated, and I'm not sure how it worked out, but we had an anticipation because one of the students was moving on to high school, and this left us paying the whole boat
Okay.
for that transportation. And we have no,
so maybe that's what this is.
That
You
might
said one
be.
moved on to high school. Man, what school is charging $157,000?
John has a question. Can you ask his question, please?
yes, Jim.
We have that fund, for
Yes.
unanticipated special ed.
Yes,
Are we using that to offset some of these?
yes, sir.
Okay, that's kind of what, so we're drawing down, but it
Someti-
it ends up in
yes.
the budget anyway, but we're drawing down
On
off of
some,
that.
yes,
And so that becomes
yes, we have to go to the town to request that,
Mhm.
okay? And so sometimes, especially with the move to our own SAU, I'm not sure if that's been done yet, but that is what we plan to do to offset some of these
Okay,
costs.
yeah, 'cause that- I mean,
Okay?
that's
You
the
know,
whole
just like
point.
if the roof caves in,
Yeah.
we have,
No, it would be nice to see that
Right.
though, too.
you know, we
To
have
see how much,
some money.
they're
in the
gonna
building
offset this
fund
cost.
For that kind of stuff.
because if they offset the majority of it, then that could bring it down, and that'd be
Right, 'cause
great.
that-
So
that
that would just give us a better idea. of-
You know, and
areas.
also, we have to look at, do we take it all out this year and zero it out? if we have 3 more children in the stream. So it's a balancing act, and I'm not in charge of that.
Yeah, I'm not sure how
No
much money
worries.
there is in it
It's
or
fine.
what it was, but,
Well, I
We're
can
asking
tell you how
questions
much
now.
money was in it, but
yeah, I don't have my book.
I have my book, but, so.
I didn't come prepared today.
No, well, I tried, but obviously I'm failing miserably.
You're doing
You're
great,
doing
Kathy.
fine. You can always get back to us too. I mean,
Right.
it's
We're
not
just,
like,
we're
we're
just
just-
asking, like,
Right.
Yeah.
we're not coming
We
down
also
on you
evolved-
at all.
But this came out today.
Yeah,
So
like,
we've all tried to digest this in a couple
in like
hours.
a couple hours, yeah.
yeah, you can always get back to these things our next meeting.
And I can write down the questions, email them out to everybody, so that way everybody has a chance to
And that's,
answer them how they
that's
see
the whole
fit.
point
And,
of the review is so
Yeah.
that we can ask the questions, you can get back to us.
And the thing is, the answers that we've gotten frequently from school board reps and others is if you don't have the answer to that, you simply write it down and say, I'll
Yeah.
get that information
And then
for
we
you.
review it the next
If you don't have
meeting.
it, it's not expected that you find it instantly here.
Kathy, so I noticed, on page 9, the special ed transport high school, that one, that was 50,000 or something there.
Yeah.
Or even the one above it, that one has gone down substantially. So is that, I'm guessing that that's the student that was, it was like 50-some thousand dollars or something, is now going to this high school that's costing 157, so it must be closer or easier to get to, or they share a ride.
Or you could share, you know, you're all, like, last year, I know Nate was running around trying to find someone for this year to share for one of our out-of-district placements, a bus. And it's better to,
Yeah.
before school begins instead of after school.
I'm just
begins.
trying to wrap my head around these numbers, because $157,000, I mean, that's, if you look at the amount that the average family, average household in this town pays in taxes towards the school, this is 30 people's tax bill,
It says.
right? Like 30
my
people
note
are working
that
for
one,
this
which
one
is
thing.
1,200-5564-004. It says out-of-district special ed child. Those are my notes on that.
So question, just in regards to this, so this is the federal government says that we have to do
Yes.
the transport and provide the services?
Yes.
Do they offer any sort of assistance in this?
Sometimes, yes,
Cause if,
but never close to what you need.
a little something,
Yeah.
help. Was it just a process of going through the grant writing and everything on it,
Well,
or?
it's not grant writing, it's, we keep records on, the hours they spent with OT and all those kinds of things, and, we get partial reimbursement for those kinds of things, because, you know, we have to keep really careful record of
Yeah,
that.
sure.
But, you know, it's, and a lot of, states put a lot more money in education and city of Winter does.
Yeah, but they have income and sales tax.
I had a question.
You know,
I'm
we gotta
just,
pay all the school here locally, so it's good, because it keeps,
I know, right?
keeps the residents' eyes on it, you know?
Raise your own hand and calling yourself, Michelle?
God, like asking too much, you guys. Just to have it on the record, page 8, line 5430000, it's another contracted services building, over 53,000. And then the line next under that is repairs and maintenance, over 44,000.
Yes, we've had, repairs and maintenance, I know we've had, a lot of problems with our, heating system.
Your heating, okay. I'll make note of that, and then, I'm only assuming that the, new equipment and fixtures was over 18,000, and then the propane
Cost of
is up,
propane.
obviously.
Yeah, and electricity, I'm sure will be,
Yeah, I just had, I don't know what the new equipment and new fixtures was.
those, I believe those are all tied to the, heating system.
The heating
And
system.
also, I'm not sure how much of the air quality control that we've done in the last couple of years, for COVID,
Yeah, didn't we spend a penny on that?
we've spent a lot of money.
And it's not working? Or it's,
What?
and it's not
Oh,
working, or?
The heating system is different from the
Oh, okay.
air exchange
Okay,
system,
okay.
okay?
Thank you.
And I'm not sure whether ESSER funds might have paid for that, or if the ESSER funds will even
Help with that?
help with that. They're very specific.
When would we get an answer on what, or if, when would we know if they were gonna help us out with those types of
Well,
funds?
the ESSER funds, you can, you know, we have the specifics, you know, that you can spend, that you can use it for.
So when do they find out if we qualify for that?
Oh, they know already. I don't know what this is specifically for, but
So we'll
those are
ask
two
that.
big expenses we've had.
What is it called? What fund is it called?
The ESSER, ESSER, and that's 2 and 3, and it's, some of them have a short lifespan. The first one that came out, we need to have expended it already, and then we have 2 more, but it's for things like, we have hired an extra, math interventionist and people like that to help with the learning loss.
Okay.
So, the, ESSER funds will pay for those things.
Okay. I didn't even know.
Just a couple of small items, not small items, like on page 7, secretarial wages is over budget by 10+ thousand. It just seems like it's a pretty big percentage to be over budget.
Is that 2 people's salary? That's what I was assuming, but I wanted to ask.
I really, that is for, I believe, the principal's secretary as well as,
Oh,
the front office
okay,
person.
right.
Right, I mean, just, it's, on a
Under budgeted,
percentage
yeah.
wise, it's a pretty good percentage over that you would think that we would have been able to budget for. And telephones are up, you know.
Well, we had terrible trouble with our phones, so I think.
The whole system got replaced or something?
Yeah.
Okay, that's
And
right.
that costs a lot of money.
I know.
That, all right,
Well, it does,
so
but
that's,
when your parents can't get to you and when you
Right,
can't get to
okay.
the parents.
But if we
No, wait.
spent so much money, shouldn't that contractor be fixing their mistakes? I
so
mean,
that's the explanation. We got a whole new system and that's why it's like more than twice as much.
Yeah.
Sorry, you guys are flipping lines so fast on me. Which line is this? I lost
That
this
is
one.
on page 8, yeah, about 1/4 or, 1/5 of the way down.
Telephones?
Yeah,
There it is, okay.
a couple more down.
This has like haunted us, like all the
Right,
time. The
a
phone
yeah,
system's
I
always
forgot
like
that the system was
outrageous.
replaced. So that explains that. That makes sense. So like new equipment, I mean, that's hard because it's just like a bucket.
It's so generic.
It's so generic and, you know, it was budgeted for 1,000 and there's like, you know, it's, you know, 3+ times as
Yeah.
much.
I'm not sure. That may or may not be, buying furniture
Is that the new desks for the front office?
for the new SAU office, because
Okay, so that would have made
That
it into,
might-
it may
that
have made
might
it
be
into
what
this
it is.
budget.
Yes, sir.
I had questions about that further down. It says equipment, fixtures, new furniture. The,
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's the same thing.
seems like there's a lot of money spent that
Yeah.
wasn't accounted for.
I think that they got some new desks for their front office. I think we learned that last
Well,
night
those
at
are
the
nice
school board
desks.
meeting.
Well, it's just that the contracted services is the same thing that I talked about on a different line, right? Like, isn't there another
Yeah,
line that
for
had
contracted
contracted services?
For inside the building though.
Yeah, but
I'm not sure what that is.
Contracted
Contracted
services.
services,
for regular ed,
to me,
it's the
really
same
are,
thing. And they're all over about 40, they're all 40 grand over.
but contracted services to me usually mean people for,
Okay.
speech, language, OT, PT. So I'm not sure what this contracted service, but it says building, so that might be, well, I see repairs and maintenance right before that.
Yeah.
Right after that, so I'm not,
That's
I'm
all.
not sure what those
Yep,
are.
that's fine.
Kathy, what's GASB?
Well,
GASB is the form you have to pay, you have to, turn into the state of New Hampshire. I think
Has to
once
do with
every
the
5
accounting?
years, accounting, Yes.
Are you guys in conformance with that? Are you worried about that? Because I heard some talk at the school board meeting last night that you guys might not be able to get a clean audit if you guys don't conform to the GASB.
No, the Gatsby was last year.
When does the new one get filled out?
And I think it's a long-term, 3 or 4 or maybe 5-year run. What they were talking about last night is getting all the, another state of New Hampshire form that we had to get, an additional time frame on, because we do not have a fiscal manager in our building yet, because we cannot find one. Okay? And
Is this something where if you don't get a clean audit or whatever, is that gonna cost the school money, or is that just like a bad, you know?
No, they're not part of the audit, but you can't do that form until you get the audit.
The electricity, I see it didn't impact this thing too much here.
Where you at, Tom?
Electricity, it's the bottom of page 8.
Bottom 8.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, it's over 4,000 here, but that's because, you know, this is September, so you've only had 2 bills since the big, inflationary hike in the electric bills. I'm wondering if the school's doing anything to kind of cut electrical usage?
Well, we have lights that go out when there's nobody in the
Energy
room.
savings.
What about, yeah, it's great. Do you guys plan to do that to like the parking lot lights? Cause I've noticed those are just seem to be on 24 hours a day and there's
I
a lot
think
and they're
that's a
very
safety
bright.
thing.
There's nothing in the parking lot. Could those be
We've
put on
also-
motions?
We've also
They're
had some,
LEDs.
They still consume a lot of
Yeah,
power,
well, significantly a lot less than
Yeah.
if they weren't.
but a lot more than if they were turned off.
But if you turn them off, then, we've already had some vandalism in the building.
What about motion sensors? That would even be better than leaving them on, because then if people are driving by and they see the lights on, they know somebody is up to no good in there. Versus now, they just might not notice you.
I
But
don't know.
also, I wonder if the conservation department might have some thoughts on that with their dark skies initiative and trying to stop light pollution. I don't know, Sandra, do you know anything about that?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
All right,
I
let's
know
get
we
back to the
talked
budget.
about putting on the CIP.
No, but I'm thinking
roof
what
on
you're
the
saying,
building
and that's
and
one
getting
idea.
some,
Yeah.
solar going, but we have to have a new roof because the old roof won't
Oh, I
hold
can't
up the
deal with that
solar.
right
So we have to, but that's something we've talked about.
That's like 24,
Yeah,
25,
that's your,
right?
Yes,
I mean,
no,
I
but
appreciate where that's
I
going,
mean,
but.
that's what we're talking about, and,
No, let's do that. What page is that
so
on?
those are the kinds of things
Yeah.
we've talked about, but it seems like you have to spend money to save money, so that's.
Yeah, I think another relevant thing I can mention from last night's school board meeting is that the school is not gonna pursue any bonds, so they have no plans on trying to do the school edition thing a 3rd time. Right, that's what came up, it was something like they had asked, like, there's a deadline coming up if you wanna get bonds, and they were asked, you know, do you wanna apply for bonds or
But
something?
we've already discussed that,
Yeah.
and Mr. LaValle was at our, facilities meeting last week.
Yeah, but he's not here to give us an
Well,
update, so that's
I
why
can
I
give
thought
you an
I'd
update, 'cause
throw
I
it
was
out
also
there.
there if you're
I-
interested, but.
After,
We can do that
please.
after.
Okay, so I'm looking at, page 9, transport Dover High School.
Yeah,
That's 5519002.
yeah.
I mean, we did a great,
Elementary one.
was it the elementary one? Over 8,000, and then we really under budgeted the Dover High School transportation too.
Yeah, so we negotiated a new contract, but that was for this year, right?
This new coming year,
Right, for
and that's
the
3
current-
year?
The current year. So I was just curious why that was over budget. Was there a different bus schedule
I
or
think,
something?
I think that must be a mistake, because we only have one high school bus going to Dover, and we used to have 2.
Well, no, it says it's the elementary
It's the
one.
elementary one is the one he's talking about.
Yeah. So all right, so the Dover one, we've saved money.
Because there was
there's
only one bus
bus.
running.
Yes.
Okay.
But the elementary one went over budget for some reason.
And he's only saying that because we thought it was contracted in that that's the
Right.
amount of money it would be,
But
so
you
we're just
pay
surprised as,
Per bus and per trip, and I think we're missing a bus, but that makes the bus routes longer.
mm,
So
So the school's been operating with one bus for
No, no, no,
elementary?
No, the Dover High School has one bus. Co-Brown has 2 buses. We have 7 or 8, I think we have 7, and we're supposed to have 8
Elementary school,
elementary school.
we're still over budget.
Right. We're still over budget with CB&A and the elementary transportation.
How many students go to like Co-Brown or Dover?
I think, oh. I don't have my,
Super ballpark, like 300?
no.
Okay.
I think Dover, we don't have enough kids for another bus, and Dover also doesn't have a bus driver for us. So we have some kids that are driving each other to school. But I think we have like I think we're allowed 71 kids on the bus, and I think we're.
No, but how many kids are at Co-Brown or in Dover, do you know?
Well, Dover, I think maybe it's like, gosh, I'm trying to think. Our total number of kids in the school district are 781, I believe.
So like a couple hundred high school kids.
Yeah.
That's
Maybe
kind of-
100 to each,
No,
150 to
it's
each.
like 120 to 80, or 130
More
to
kids at
70,
Co-Brown
something
versus
like that.
Dover, yeah.
More, yes.
Okay.
Do you know how many of them drive themselves to school versus take the bus?
It's always
Well-
changing though, kids are
Yeah.
getting
Also,
Well, I'm wondering, like, can we just get them all a cheap car? Do those exist anymore? Can you get a
I don't
cheap
think there's
car?
such thing as a cheap used car.
Son would love that
Hey,
idea.
if you show me the numbers, that it's
Yeah.
cheaper to buy them some
I can't
clunkers
instill
than
this
for us to run a
in
bus.
Tom, and giving him free stuff.
Corollas for everybody.
or gas, but also at Dover, they don't have enough parking spaces, so you have to get permission.
Yeah.
And
It could be a free
seniors get-
car if you carpool with 5 other students.
But,
It could be,
but
you're
see,
not
you know what
wrong
the
there.
problem is driving around. We have such a big area.
This one
That's
too.
why our bus routes are so long.
Right, but if it was just a kid and he had to pick up his 5 buddies, it wouldn't take so long.
And
creative
who's gonna
solutions,
pay-
right?
Who's gonna pay for the police chasing them
Why would the police be chasing
if
them?
they're speeding?
Why would they be speeding?
If they're trying to get to school on time?
All right.
Okay. I have a question on page 2.
Okay, perfect.
We're going backwards?
Page 2.
Well, just one question. I didn't understand this one. It's right about the middle of the page, 5211. It's health insurance SE buyouts. What does that line mean?
That means that, I'm not sure which the SE is, but a buyout is if
Special
someone's taking, for a family, health insurance is very expensive. But if their spouse or significant other has
Also have
health insurance, we will give them a buyout of a few $1,000s so that they don't take $20,000 for a family.
This is the thing Bob Kelly's always talking
Yeah,
about.
it's buying them out as an opt-out option. They still carry the
Can I say that?
How many? Do you have any idea
that
how many?
benefit.
Yeah.
How many of the people that choose to
Is it-
take their
is it in
spouse's health insurance over the school's health insurance? Do you have any idea how many of those people would do it regardless of
It
the?
is, it's negotiable.
Is
I mean,
that
that's the kind of
negotiable?
stuff that we should try and pull out
That
of
would be
contract.
interesting for the contract.
Yes,
You know?
but,
Yeah,
well,
Right, that's, right, you gotta negotiate.
Just
that's
saying.
right.
These
And
contracts are
also-
phenomenal.
but,
They are.
you know,
I need to be a teacher.
They're
it's
great
one of those
contracts.
things that,
Yeah, it's negotiation.
it's a plus for teachers to work for the salary they work for if they,
Are you implying the salaries here are low because they're like 70,000 plus like
Can we just
40,000
get back to
benefits?
numbers?
These are our numbers. That's
Yeah,
what we're talking about.
this is what we're
Question you
talking
just
about,
had
Owen.
had
Yeah.
nothing to do with these numbers.
Unfortunately, we can't talk about these things in the negotiation meetings because the school's keeping them secret.
What's up?
Again, not
That's
the topic at
not a
hand.
topic.
I mean, we're literally talking about teachers' salaries and benefits right now. That's the topic.
Please. Let's get back to the budget.
So, back on page 9, if we're done with page 2, Michael.
Yep, sorry, just jumping around. We hit
I know,
8,
I go
9,
around all
4,
the time.
2. I just, I'm with you, John. So where are we?
Back on page
Page
9.
nine.
Thank you.
A little bit more than the middle, line 46005450, construction services. So that was a 0% budget item, but we spent $10,000 there.
I
Is
believe that was to make room to refit, the conference room.
And this stuff you were talking about
Yes,
earlier?
things I
Okay.
was talking about earlier.
Okay, and it went into last year's budget because there was,
It had to be done by,
okay. And that's kind of what I expected you to say, but just checking.
Did we get revenues? Are those here somewhere?
if we keep looking, I think
I
there's
think
a
it's the
revenue
last page. It starts back at a 1, because it's a different
Different
print
report.
off.
All right, revenues. Tuition from parents.
Which one here?
That's for
The last one,
Very last
right?
page, yeah.
That's that, it's either, I'm not sure the preschool's even in here. That's for, people, who work in the building and they pay
Okay.
tuition so that their children can come to school here.
Kathy, can you explain this last one here? Voted from fund balance.
Well, that's our big question. I have, let me see if I can find that. What page is that, Tom?
It says page 1, but it's the very last page.
Very last one in the
Okay,
booklet.
yes, yes.
No, not that one, but you're still on the expenditure.
Common
Here's this
core
one.
page
Okay,
numbering.
That's a big question. We didn't know what that was, and so we left a question at that last night.
Okay.
So we just have a mystery
Which
one is that?
$120,000?
The voted from fund
fund
balance.
And I'm not sure whether that's what we, did in warrant articles, Tom? Could that, I'm not sure, but that's what, when I look at that, that seems to be taken from the fund balance, but I don't think it's processed the right way, you know what I mean?
Did you guys, well, all the warrant articles were on the school ballot. Did they add up to either 121,000 or
I haven't looked at that
200,000?
yet, but I said that that looks like that might be.
Yeah. And then the one above that, the fund balance to reduce taxes, I like the sound of that. Is that $529,000, is that money you're just not gonna have to steal from the taxpayer next year?
I'm not gonna answer that, Tom. That's very rude.
Okay, sorry. Is that money that you're not gonna have to extort from the taxpayers of this town next year?
Okay.
Can we-
Sorry, we'd be more
have a
proper.
I'll get
Conversation about stability
I'll
at
get a
some
more
point.
clarification on that, Tom. She's doing her best, so.
No, I wanna know, like, that's what that is, right?
Right.
That's unspent money that was in the
I don't-
budget that they're not gonna, they
That's
didn't
not how you ask the
spend.
question, Tom, you know.
That
what
is
you're
how you
doing.
accurately ask the question.
No, it's not.
Yes, okay,
just
well, we
want-
can have a little explanation then.
I just want everyone to
The
be
town raises
respectful
their
of
money
everybody.
through force.
Tom, and if you're not gonna
They
be
say if you
respectful,
do not pay
Then I'm
what the
gonna have to
school
ask you to
demands,
leave.
that they will take your house from you. That is extortion. It's a threat of violence or taking of your property to extort money. Now, my question is,
Excuse me, I think I have to go home.
That's all right, thank you, Kathy.
Thank you, Kathy.
all right, so basically,
Tom.
I'm wondering.
Tom?
What?
Before we go any further, I'm gonna ask you that you need to like be respectful of everybody here, and if you can't do that, then I'm gonna ask you to leave, because talking over people is not being respectful.
Okay.
And we're all here, we're all volunteers, we're all doing our best to make sure that the town of Nottingham is under the fiscal watchdog eye of everybody here, okay? And everybody's doing their best, so moving forward, I need you to respect everybody and not talk over everybody.
I've not been talking over people, Michelle. I've been interrupted numerous times from people over here, and I don't immediately say, stop interrupting me. Okay? I'm not interrupting people. I'm asking a legitimate question about a budget item. If they don't like that I'm describing it as theft, that is their problem. That is not an offensive term. I believe
Well,
that
Kathy
this
sure was
taxation is
offended and
theft.
she left.
Well,
so.
that's her problem. She wanted to be the budget committee representative.
No, she didn't.
She asked for it. That's what I was told at the
Wants to be
previous
the budget
one.
committee representative
Yeah,
on the school board, so let's be real about that.
She agreed to come in,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I heard it last night at the school board meeting that I sat through. Anyways, so it's interesting. This is something that Bob Kelly, I wish he was here because he's always asking about the amount that's not spent. And I'm wondering if that 529, if that's like before they take out the 210 unspent fund balance that gets voted in on warrant articles. Because we usually end up with about $400,000 of like unspent over budgeting.
Yep, yep.
And I'm wondering if it's 529, because that sounds like a lot. Like, I know the school budget's like 13 million.
Well, I think they're gonna have to go back and readjust some of the numbers in here for sure, so we might see that number looking more like 400,000.
Yeah. Well, it might be like 300,000 if that 210 comes out of it.
Well, there's still that ESSER fund that she was talking about, that
Yeah.
money could reduce the heating system cost by a lot too, so I think that was like 156,000.
Yeah.
So I
I mean,
feel
I
like
think
that
they're.
number is definitely gonna change, but it would be nice to know if that's the money you're talking about.
Yeah. I think their biggest challenge is going to be energy bills too. Like, because I know they buy propane in bulk, but I don't know how often they have to. They have a huge tank out back of the
Only have
school.
four.
Right, but
Yeah, what?
Do they
propane,
have, oh, is it the two big ones?
I just know they have a huge
I don't
like
know.
propane tank or something back there.
Yeah.
propane was already over budget in this
Yeah.
year, so I can imagine what it's gonna be in the current year.
Well, it's a question of if they filled it up, if they like use the tank
I
every
think
month,
they
or if they
filled it.
bank it.
I think they probably filled it, before the end of the year.
I
But
feel like they told us last year how they did it.
I've got a comment.
Yes, ma'am?
It's way too late to do it today,
Mhm.
but in the future, when we're going over budget, I think we should go back to the way we've done it in the past, which is really start at the top and go down through each item, rather than jumping from page to page.
That's fine too.
Mhm.
Yeah, if you guys wanna do it that way, that's totally fine.
I think that will be,
Right, yeah.
that will make
Moving
more
forward,
sense
you wanna
and
do
it'll
that?
be easier to
Okay.
follow.
I mean, we mostly did.
We've covered half of it the way
Sure.
we're doing it
Right.
tonight, but I'm thinking going forward, it would be much better to, I mean, we can say, if any questions about this line, no, and then
We can
move
just
on.
say, look at a page.
Section by section,
If we
page
look
by
at a page at
page.
a time, then,
Or look at a page at a time, but rather
Yeah.
this, it's on page 6, and now I've got a page on
Sure.
page 2.
That's totally
and
fine,
It all
Sandra.
ties together, but it doesn't all tie together when we're looking at it in a jumbled way, and I can imagine reading the minutes about this.
Well, I'll tell you, even at the school board meeting, they bounce around a bit. It's kind of natural.
it doesn't matter what the school
What were
board.
you
But if we're reviewing the financials from last year, so we're gonna see some preliminary stuff upcoming through the next month, and then we're gonna wait, and we're not gonna have anything final. So I agree, Sandra, that we should go line by line right down. But I think that I would expect that we will see some stuff, and we should be scanning to identify anything's, talking points.
Right.
Yeah,
And
it's
we
nice.
should all be looking, and like everyone has tonight, clearly, and have things checked that you want to ask questions
The-
about.
Right, we
just
So
got it
wait
so
till that
short
gets to
term.
that page and do that. I think it will be clearer and easier for
Okay.
all of us to understand.
That's fine,
I
Sandra.
think it would also help if these numbers were actually like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Yes.
and not like
Or on
108 million and 62.
How long have you been asking for that?
Yeah.
So,
Yes,
John,
the-
you'll be happy to
The lines were
know.
numbered, but yes, that would be good too,
Yeah.
the lines numbered, yes.
And John, you'll be happy to know I put in a request at the school board meeting to have stuff come to us in Excel format as well. They said like, oh, I don't know if their new system can do it, and I said, well,
It's the
you
same
pay for the new
It's the
system.
same system.
No, I think we're gonna get I think our new budget's gonna look different than
Oh,
this.
yeah, it will look different, but it's
Yeah.
the same system.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So they just didn't do it all that time?
Huh?
They didn't do it, they didn't give you the Excel spreadsheet all that time? And they're gonna do it
Oh,
for us now?
well, they did at the end of the last couple of years, they did.
But this is software that they pay for, so I said, if you're
It's
paying
very-
for it, call up
it's
the
very
manufacturer and say,
expensive. That's why
I
I
need
use
to
it.
be able to export
It's
this.
very expensive software. It has the capability to do it.
Yeah, and Sue Levinson said that like, it's not an unreasonable request from our end, that we are statutorily, we make the budget so that she wants them to try to produce it for us.
I
So,
Everything we
think
do.
that, I'm hoping that Tim is easier to work with than Nate. Now that we are our own SAU, he only works for us. Or us, Nottingham is what I mean, us, the global us. He doesn't have to worry about Northwood or whatever.
School
so-
district, yeah.
So,
Yeah, that
I
SAU
think-
sounds pretty shady.
Huh?
There was an issue, the SAU, the old SAU sounded pretty shady. There was an issue where they overbilled something and then they were saying that, oh, we'll give you a credit back, but you're only gonna get your town's percentage of the credit, and it was a whole to-do, so.
There
Is that
was-
at their meetings?
Yeah,
they were talking
but
about?
they said they're gonna get the check, so hopefully.
That's good, because that's, yeah, there's a lot of things that I did not like about that SAU. So, but thank you, Tom, for clarifying that. All right, yeah, it's
Well, now that-
unfortunate that we only got this stuff today,
I know.
but, you know, who gets a chance to read it in the middle of work day? Not me.
Well, they just got it done last night, so.
Yeah, I don't understand the need to, oh my God, the school board has to see it before we can release it to anybody else. It's
It's already
preliminary.
there.
It's there, that's what,
Mhm.
you know,
Sooner the better.
I agree, sooner the
Right,
better,
the
because
sooner
then we're
the
stuck
better.
in this, then we're stuck in the meeting looking over it, when we should
Right.
already have our questions
Right.
ready to rock and roll.
right now.
Or we could send them questions ahead of time.
Yeah, to have
prepared.
answers, I like that
Certainly.
too.
Right, exactly, we can have questions ahead, I
And
mean,
poor
then
Kathy
they could
would,
take
I
them to the
feel
school
like-
board.
Mhm.
You know, like first quarter stuff, it's like, oh, they haven't even looked at it yet, so
Mhm.
we're not gonna see it till next month now.
Yeah.
And then did they communicate to you when they were gonna have the draft budget and stuff? Because they kind of decided meetings on those things.
No, I
I
haven't
forgot to
heard
write down the
anything.
date. But they know our
But
expectations.
that was just last night?
Yeah, they
Okay.
were planning
I mean, I
out.
only put this out Tuesday, I
Yeah,
think, so.
they were planning out when to meet to have 2 meetings before when we had to get the December 8th budget draft from them, so. It sounds like they're gonna be on track.
That's,
Fingers crossed.
yeah.
Knock on wood, all of it.
Are there
I'm not gonna hold
overages? Oh, sorry.
breath. Sorry.
Are there overages on the school budget that are like consistent year to year? Like this teacher's salary, and it's like, because there's some pretty big ones, and it's like, shouldn't they like be used to this by now and
Right.
adjust?
And the hard thing is, you kind of have to go back to previous reports to look at it.
Yeah.
And it's not that easy, because line numbers change and stuff like that,
Right.
but.
Salaries and benefits, definitely. And
Salaries.
it's always the same excuse. It's that, well, we can't predict that things are gonna change like this, but and I said this last year, is like, well, then the formula you use to do your predictions needs to have a fudge factor, because you're consistently, every year, you're giving us under, and when you put it in front of the voters for the contract, the number
But I
is
think-
under.
Yeah,
And
I
that
think
just,
that's
when that
what's so
happens year after year, it
frustrating.
means just add 20%.
Because it doesn't seem transparent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It like.
They're trying to slide in
I
this budget
wanna
that's so low.
support, absolutely, my kids go to these schools, you know what I mean, and I wanna support the school district, but when you get us a contract and you want us to vote on it and you're handing it out as the meeting is
Right,
happening,
that-
it's very difficult
Yeah.
to stand behind, so I'm really hoping that, we can try to adjust it, because it's been like this, I've been on the committee for 5 years, and it's been over every single year, and
Have they started negotiations?
They have. They've had at least 2 meetings.
okay.
So far. So they are now releasing a joint approved statement after each negotiation meeting that basically says what they did, but it's the most bland and not very useful thing. It says like the union came in and they gave their demands and the town said this is the economic data and we agree to meet again in 2 weeks. So it doesn't really tell you anything, but at least you know that there was a meeting. But they're saying that that's
It's better than we've
That's
ever
what-
had before.
yeah, they're saying that's the best that they can do. And I just, yeah,
It's the best that
the
they
union will allow.
negotiated to do.
Yeah. So I just got the legal opinion on that warrant article last night, so I'm still digesting it, because it was a 4-page thing with references to a whole bunch of different court cases that I gotta go read, and so I'll digest it, but yeah, so they're in the middle of negotiations, and there's no sense in whether or not it'll be over soon, or over later, or protracted, we don't know. So,
Well,
we'll find
if
out.
history continues to repeat itself, it will be late. It will come at the very day before, and, that's traditional, and it's,
We're upfront about how we feel about it, and I think since
And-
I've been here, we've
and the
been
town.
upfront about it.
Right, and the town said, we want to be involved, so with that being said, I mean, if they can't give us something to look at and get in front of the people, because they should have a information session on that contract and see how the people feel about it.
Yeah, well, there'll be a public hearing, but
Right.
again, it'll be at the last minute, and, you know, it is a common, psychological sales tactic, right, to drop something and put a sense of urgency that this needs to be acted on now, no, we're sorry, we're right up against the deadline, make a decision now,
Well,
right,
and
so,
that's the unions.
yeah.
And that's,
They're gonna hold out to
Yep.
the end, and, you know, it's
And that's basically what,
the function of the union.
I don't wanna give a full analysis of it, but that, legal opinion said like, yeah, there's nothing that legally says that the school can't ask to have the negotiations in public. They can ask for that, but if the union doesn't wanna do it, then the union can try to sue for unfair labor practices or something, and there was some case where it happened in Exeter, and all the charges were dropped, but the town said, you guys gotta meet, so figure it out, something like that, so, I don't know.
all right.
We'll see, but yeah, I'm not expecting anything for a while.
All right.
With Kathy gone, I guess we'll wrap up the school financials, and please feel free to email the group if you have any questions. Put Kathy on, put Carol on, you know, CC me and John, or put everybody on if you have any questions. Like, you don't have to wait for the budget committee to have a meeting to answer or ask a question. I'm not as good as checking my Nottingham email as I should be, but
Can I get a Nottingham email?
I just made a
just
Gmail and put Nottingham.
Anybody can.
Go for it.
You can have any
I didn't do
Gmail
nothing.
No, I
account.
mean one that says at nottingham.gov.
Yeah, .gov. I wanted one
you
too.
can.
Cool.
I think you have to ask one of the off.
Why do you want one that says that go?
I don't know, it's neat.
Because you can be official.
Leave if you're,
Can I just a point of clarification, that last line, the grand total, so what's the end summary of this, that they're over by 471,000?
Over which grand total are you looking at?
There's a
Page one, the
Oh, the
revenue
revenue.
report,
last page on the booklet.
last page in the booklet,
So the revenue, the very last page of the revenue?
yeah.
That
Yeah,
reads-
We're
it's
gonna
on-
look at, oh, sorry, go ahead.
That reads like you retained an extra 471 in
Yeah.
revenue.
That's,
So it's a revenue account, so you're not over if you have more, you have more money.
But we're gonna look at the, are we, no, that's the grand.
So that revenue will be applied for
You're looking
the
at the
things that they
grand total right
overdrew
now?
in the expense report?
No, I think that's the unassigned fund balance, whatever's left over.
so it says the budget.
It
of
typically goes
revenue
back to the
was
general fund,
minus
doesn't it?
14 million.
It just is just not raised.
Year to
It's
date
just,
was
it's
minus
same thing
15
equivalent.
million.
The general fund's the towns though.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, so that must be
We're
a.
over
we-
471,000.
We're getting more revenue than expected, is how I'm reading that.
So we have $471,000 and 900 and something more than we expected.
In revenues.
Right.
That's what,
So why is that minus 3.1%?
It's just the way the software works.
yeah.
With the software, okay.
An
It's an
abundance is,
accounting standard. but
yeah,
it's-
abundance is a minus, and if it looks great, then it's horrible.
Yeah.
If it's in the plus,
Accounting standards are rough.
yeah.
Okay.
Just to mess with us.
It's all different. It's all different but the same.
So if I'm reading this right, we got more revenue than expected, and the budget, the school was under $350,000 on their budget, correct?
The total,
So even with all those overages, they still came in under.
right, they still came under budget. Yep.
Wait, so when they put the parentheses around it, that means it's
Negative.
negative.
Right, so we're
So, but they
negative
can't have,
14.
so when it says negative in the grand total for year to date, that's because it's spending?
Yeah, because it's a revenue account. You're looking at the revenue report still?
Yeah.
So
But that's,
overall-
I'm wondering why the unanticipated revenue, so if it,
Overall, it's good.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because if you're looking
It's
at,
just like 3 double negatives in a row, right?
Overall,
that's what we budgeted.
overall,
That's
it's
what we have over.
seven,
But on the revenues,
$800,000 in the
we
plus.
expected to.
And you got that from the last two lines, the
for the
fund
two
balance to
grand
reduce
totals
taxes?
Added up.
Oh, okay.
4.7 and 3.5, 350 and 470 roughly.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
If I understand this correctly.
I feel like that's better than last year.
Yeah, no, it is.
Okay, I wasn't gonna say that too loud. I was like, I feel like that's better than last year, right? Like, yeah. Okay. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to email the group if you're looking at it at your leisure. Go for it.
Point of clarification on that, I just know, for, meetings and boards where I work, we have to be really careful about group emails because they technically qualify as a quorum if you have everybody on them. So they qualify as a public meeting, so I think we might wanna be careful about sending out questions in that
so
format
right.
because it's not
If,
open to the
Do you know
public.
the rules on that?
Yeah, that's why we're not allowed to do, meeting minute edits on Google
Right,
Docs or
right.
something.
So-
Yeah, it has to be,
so I think if we are sending questions to the school board to say, please bring this back.
that I think is different.
Right.
Correct, I think we can't have
We
discussion.
can't have
or we
discussion,
can't-
correct, that's the difference.
Oh,
We
we just
can't-
got this
We
lesson.
can't like say, ask questions to the group to
Yes.
say,
Right.
hey, get back to me on this.
Yeah,
because
it's like
a
sending out an
discussion.
agenda or something.
Okay,
Right.
well, yeah, I was talking about if you had
Right.
questions for like the school board or the board of selectmen.
okay,
I just,
sorry, I
I'm not like an
misunderstood.
expert at any of this by any means, but.
I only know because I just got in trouble for it recently.
Yeah.
But it's a fine line, right?
asked the
Like,
question
because
to
you can discuss things outside, but like you guys discussed the whole, like, does the 4%, does that apply to the town's budget or does it apply to the warrant articles? Right? You guys talked about that stuff.
4%, sorry.
Sorry, like
Before we
like
had our
5 weeks
first
ago or
meeting.
something.
Oh, yeah,
Right?
and that, but
Two people can
two
talk.
people can talk.
It's not a
It's like,
quorum.
you can't have a quorum.
Okay.
So as long as you keep it under the 50%,
Right.
you can still have the
You cannot
discussion.
have a quorum, because then it's an official meeting.
I just don't want.
So you can't even socialize as a quorum,
Technically, yeah.
yeah.
I just don't want people to think that they can't
So we,
ask anything or,
Right.
you know. say-
Well, yeah, anybody can send
we
anything to the
can't,
school
we
board.
can't
email.
all say that, hey, let's go to Liars for a pizza,
Yeah.
because it's a meeting.
Unless we invite the public
Right.
Unless we invite.
and announce
Post it in
beforehand.
2 places,
Right, exactly.
prominently 2 weeks before the Liars trip.
And I'll say, if you want to ask the school board something, just add the superintendent to the email, because it's probably going to get answered by him anyways, so you'll get a faster response if you just
That's-
include in the
right.
2 line the superintendent. I've gotten a response pretty quick.
You've already reached out to him?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool. Oh, I was gonna ask you guys, I don't know, we can wait till the end, but, think about it. Do we wanna have him come in and like introduce himself or any of that stuff?
He's
Or
probably
you
gonna,
guys-
he's gonna be in here for the,
Soon enough.
yeah,
All right,
like, yeah, they usually come in, the principal and the
well,
superintendent.
right, I just didn't know, cause he's new.
He'll be in soon enough.
Okay, I guess we'll get to know him anyways. Okay,
All right, do we wanna look at town stuff?
yeah, do you guys wanna look at the town stuff?
Yeah.
Breeze through it, look through it?
Yeah, we're here. We've got
Okay,
time.
right.
What we
So
signed up
this
for.
this is first quarter, so this is,
Quarter. So it should be approximately a quarter of the stuff.
All right.
and their budget starts in like July? Is that what we're working on
Our
here?
budget starts in January 1st.
So this is,
So this is.
So we're,
This is
wait,
3 quarters.
This is 3/4, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. It's not, 3/4.
all right.
This is third quarter. The school should have been first quarter is the ones we were expecting. So, all right, so this is 3/4. So, yeah, with that, I was gonna say, oh my God, but no, with that in mind, that was better.
Did they email this out, or is this just, we just
No.
got paper?
I
Okay.
just got this paper when I got here.
Chris must have done this.
How long is Chris sticking around until they find a
Today is
replacement?
last
Last
Oh.
day. Yeah,
So is the town just rudderless tomorrow, or?
No, there's a interim person.
Where's John?
No, he didn't email us.
I don't know if you can tie that to work or something.
It's nice when you can get the highlights, cause,
He does a good job.
yeah.
Really good about. Research. That's about.
Something to,
Line 63.
John, when he's here next time, 331. The last year's is 25,050. Sorry.
Maybe we should have took Sandra's notes.
Yeah.
Going
Okay.
line by line.
Because we should probably be looking at page.
All right, let's
Anybody
do-
got anything on page 1?
I don't know, I'm still looking at this.
All right, let's do page 1.
I was just gonna say, we're doing the
Apologies.
same thing over still.
Yeah, I jumped the gun, my bad.
That's all right.
Like election department, line 41, like, they spent a lot on training. They had.
Yeah, that's probably all the new, like, election,
Yeah.
transparency stuff, and there's a lot of people that wanted to be, like, poll watchers and stuff, and I wonder if the town had to pay for that, to, like, train them how to
It's
watch
mostly hours,
hours.
paying the people the hours to get the training. So, and putting the training together is some of it. Because some of it is provided by the state, and then they spin their stuff for the town. And then everybody has to get that training. And too much stuff changes.
And I think we have a good record with our elections and everything going on, so having people well-trained and having
worth it.
experienced people there is standing us well.
Well, I don't know if we want to say we have a good, well, I guess the elections themselves have run really well, but putting the right number of seats on the ballot has not gone so well.
No, that had not, no,
Yeah.
That doesn't have
that
to
did not do well at all.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right there, that did not do well at all, but the elections themselves is what I was talking about.
Yeah,
The
and then
people that were
committees
sitting
looking
there,
at the obvious
checking off
will of
the
the
voters
voter
and all
and
that
voting the
sort of
right
stuff.
person,
They
and
were
that
doing
didn't
a
go
good
too
job.
well either.
Counting the votes. Marking up the ballots, not so good.
Okay, do we want to switch to page 2?
Yes.
I wanted to question line 63 if nobody has anything.
Nope.
Okay.
I was just curious what the mortgage research was. What is this?
I just heard today that not that it matters for budget committee, but the new mortgage rates that the Fed just released are at a 16-year high. So,
Is there something the town was gonna buy that they get a mortgage on? Like,
No clue.
I'm not gonna guess. You know, it's like it was budgeted for 800 and it came out, 1,200. And that's for I'm assuming that probably is not a number that's,
yeah, I don't think the town's bought any property or anything.
unless it had something to do when they sold,
They sold some,
but that was on last
Properties.
year's budget, right?
and those were tax deeded and stuff.
And when they sold-
There's land that they own up on, the crossroads of Kennett Road and,
Freeman Hall.
Freeman Hall,
That
right,
got sold.
right, but that's for sale, I don't know if it's sold or
I
not.
think whoever bought it from the town is selling it now.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty
I
sure the
don't know, I
town
just
did
know
sell
that
it.
that's-
Yeah.
That's a piece of property that the town had that was for sale.
Yeah, they sold off
And we
a
sold
number of
off the,
parcels.
we finalized the sale on the, water bottling
Right,
plant.
but was, that one I thought was last year.
I thought it was last year too,
Yeah,
but that did
they
get
sold
sold. But
another one
the only
on
land I know of
Smoke
is the
Street too.
one On Freeman Hall.
Anything else on 2?
Nope.
All right, let's move to 3.
I think the reason some of these for fire department might be lower is I don't think they have all their full timers yet.
I don't think you're right.
Right, they're
Right.
short one person.
Because
No, they were
that
supposed to hire 3 and they've hired 2 so far.
yeah, because that's up in personnel administration too. There's like FD retirement and stuff like that. So that's probably going to affect bits and pieces of the budget. Do we not have a zoning secretary? Is that what's going on here? Or is she working for free?
No, I think we,
Is it partnered with planning? The zoning and planning is the same person?
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe.
it is, actually, I just called up the other day,
All right,
talked to him.
so 99 and 115 are together. I'm ready to go to the next page.
we don't have page
I
numbers.
know,
Library maintenance.
starting, yeah, at 136.
How do we still have a 0 line item for THOB
What line?
126? Actually, it's a duplicate. That's weird.
126 is,
That just must be some software thing.
yeah, it looks like it's some kind of glitch, because it's,
Because we can't have 0 line items, right? They just disappear.
That's what I thought.
well, this is, looks like it's done in Excel.
Yeah. So maybe it's just a placeholder
This
for
was
something
like
that's there.
spit into Excel or something. So I wonder if that was a total line or something that got, that didn't get pulled out, I don't know. It doesn't say anything.
THOB, that's Town Hall Old Building? Is that the one they're using for the SAU? Like maybe it's something they moved over to the SAU's budget.
You can
That's
ask
the only thing
what
I
is
can
this?
think of. Because that's weird, right? Like, I mean, is the town giving the building to the SAU? Is the SAU renting it? Because they're their own legal entity.
The town still owns the building. The SAU is basically, between the town and the SAU, they did the work on it. But it's still a town building, it's like a 0 rent agreement or something like that, I guess. I don't know the exact details, but.
Town still owns it though, right?
Right, right, and that other space, the big hall, is still, you know, available for town functions and stuff like that. So, although that needs some work as well, and I'm not sure they have anything good in there, because the floor's got some pretty good warps that need to be fixed, so. Like, some of the floorboards are buckled like this, with a major trip hazard.
Yeah, weren't they doing like some dancing thing in there?
They used
Sounds
to do,
dangerous.
They used to do, yeah, like line dancing or something in
That's
there, or yoga, or I don't know.
Line 132 is over budget too, right? A little bit. Ask what that is.
Town Hall.
Building maintenance.
That would be this building.
No, because this is CC, right?
The
Oh, yeah,
community.
Community
you're-
center?
You're right, that's, this, CC is this building. Community center.
So it's TH Town Hall. Is it the other building that's over there?
I don't know. I'm gonna ask about this one.
feel like we just need new acronyms because this comes
Right.
up every year.
All right, I'm ready to turn the page when, if you guys are. So 136 at the top.
Well, whatever TH is, it looks like they just turned off the electric service. And the heat.
Well, maybe they pushed that over to the,
Oh, you think maybe that's
the-
just to this, the community center?
Could be.
no,
But
no,
the old town hall is where the SAU is, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
is the SAU maybe paying for that now?
Right, maybe.
Yeah.
But that would, but there should have still been a half of a year.
Because they only got in there the 1st of June or July.
You're right, this starts in January.
Inside, it's pretty rugged. I don't even know if they heated it.
Oh, they did turn, no, they had electric on.
Didn't they have pipes breaking it at some point
Yeah,
because they
the
weren't heating it
heat-
or something?
Some pipes did break, because the heat failed. And that was one of the big problems, like, is because the heat failed, everything was a mess and kinda had to be
That's
gutted.
what it
and-
was, okay.
I wonder if the recycling center heat's gonna go up in the 4th quarter.
There's electric in the Grange? I didn't realize there was electric in the Grange building.
That looks like just the connection fee or
Not a whole
something.
lot, yeah, that's like the line charge or something, next to nothing.
Well, exactly, my reason why I even have electric in there.
Hmm,
Return it to its roots. Fire station.
I think everything on this page looks good.
What is OS Rev? Insurance claims OS Rev 167.
Outstanding,
That would,
outstanding revenue. I assume that there's outstanding revenue to it or something? But-
Revenue
That
from
doesn't-
insurance claims,
Right,
right?
they- Well, they wouldn't put revenue in here, so there's an expense here, but revenue would come in on the revenue sheet. I think it's just the offset.
Right.
oh, like an under unanticipated revenues or something like that? Is that what you're saying?
Well, that they spent out this 18,895 out
Yeah.
of the budget, but they're getting that 18,895, or whatever it was,
885, yeah.
in as a revenue. So that's why it's
Got it.
budgeted as 0.
That's why it's coming from there, okay.
But they spent that money.
next page, starting at
Same-
183.
Same with like the pistol permits, although they don't spend money there. It's revenue. Unless maybe they gotta buy forms or something. I just spend up here.
196. I just didn't get anything this year. Or,
It's amazing they're not over on gasoline.
I know.
I don't understand the police department telephone line.
Why?
They budgeted for.
Oh, that was probably, I think, didn't the town do one of these whole system upgrades too?
I
Yeah.
think it might be internet, they're internet phones now, maybe.
Okay,
Because all the other phones were 0 as well, but internet was right after it, I don't know.
all right, yep, the other phones are 0 too, you're right. And the internet is much more, all right.
The phones, I believe, are $30 a month for each phone. So, unless it's just put, no, cause, I don't know.
And the stipend on 203 gets spent at the end of the year, right? From the chief?
Yeah, that gets spent.
Mhm.
So the chief's salary, that's just like an extra, there's no way she's working for $8,000. What?
Part-time.
Being the chief?
Yeah,
Probably like, yeah,
yeah. Part-time,
he's our guy.
Oh, that's fire chief.
yeah.
Okay, I thought it was the police chief, sorry.
It's okay.
Still though, that is weird.
The vehicle maintenance was up, line 219. It's budgeted for 15, and looks like they're
Which
over.
one?
Line 219, fire and rescue, vehicle maintenance.
So this is third quarter, right? So this should be 3/4 of the whole spending.
Yeah,
The police department has only spent 70%. They're coming in under budget again.
I think
She's
it's,
awesome.
looks like they don't have,
She's
looks like they might be missing an officer
I
or
mean,
something.
The
Yeah.
fire one's super under, but
Well,
that's
maybe
just
not.
that might be the case too.
They didn't get a
Right.
cruiser either. They
Right.
allotted 36,000 for a cruiser and haven't spent anything of it yet, so.
Yeah, and that's, I wonder
good
if that's
chunk.
gonna come in fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll get an electric car. Well, if that's not any cheaper.
Yeah, it's a lot more expensive.
We gotta
honestly.
put in one of those chargers.
Well, I mean, the electricity to fuel it's not any cheaper
And
now.
you won't be able to get across
Kidding.
town. You would never make it, you know, you'd have to only be cruising for an hour, and then you gotta plug it in for like 12.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting, 218, the fire and rescue gasoline and diesel, they're over already pretty significantly, but police is still under.
If they're down a cruiser, that would explain it.
Yeah, they're
that's
down
Yeah.
a, down a person.
Yeah,
Over makes more
maintenance is
sense.
up there too, or is that the one you said? was up?
Yeah, the vehicle maintenance. Mhm.
Something extra broke.
And then I don't know if the forest fire stuff is up just a little bit.
We had the forest fire this year.
Yeah, it was like a
Couple.
multi-day.
Around the lake,
Was there a couple?
yeah.
I know my neighbor had a fire, I thought for sure. It was huge. All right, next page, the start of line 229.
Wait a minute. So before we get off there,
Oh,
the
sorry.
201, the warrant article 5 is in there. Is
In
that a
the
normal
budget
thing for it to
budget.
end up in the budget like that?
That's the good.
Because I think that's part of why it's like, it shows 600.
Yeah.
And it's weird that it doesn't show anything being spent for it, because if that was to hire full-time people, which I think that's what that was, right? They've hired, like, I
Was.
think 2 out of the 3.
Right, that's what, so they, yeah, I would think that, unless, oh, you know why?
They're
So they put
anticipating it to
there,
be
the
a
300.
permanent line item.
Right, so that was part of it, so it gets moved in there as the 300,000, but their salary should be spent on this full-time salary line. That's still under, but,
By a lot.
well, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they got it
But I
until
would
recently,
think-
so.
Right, right, I think it was like supposed to not start until at least second half of the year anyway.
Yeah, so it'll only be 1/4 of
That
it.
article, and then we were like, well, it's gonna have to be a permanent line item,
Right.
so that's
Yeah.
gonna go up.
Well, I mean, at some point, the fire chief will come in front of us, right? So we can ask him.
Go through it.
He's always good about explaining all that.
Sorry, which page are we on now? Did we flip it now?
229, at
Yeah,
the top
okay.
of 229. Emergency management. Highway workers overtime, salary full-time overtime's up and it's not even cold
Mhm.
yet,
Well, I know they're down,
are they?
they're down 1 or 2 right now.
So that should
Right,
offset then in the
so-
salary?
That's
Yeah.
probably why the salary is so
Okay.
low.
All right.
I think they're down, I think they might be down too.
That makes
I
sense.
think they're down 2 out of the 5 they're supposed to have or something like that. Can't remember exactly what it was.
Thank you.
They haven't done any mowing? They must be contracting it out.
I thought that's what they were planning to do, but why is there money in it if that's not being used for contracting?
Was there like another line for contracted? There's contracted road maintenance, but that doesn't sound like it would cover mowing.
Unless they did.
Unless they got the prisoners to do it. But even that, you have to pay for their lunches, so like there should be some number.
Take them the wires and.
Yeah.
Hired equipment plowing, I think that's has to be from like first quarter, right?
Hired equipment, that could be.
Hired equipment plowing.
They have to hire plows, yeah.
Plowing, yeah, hired.
That's
They
what I'm
don't have
saying,
enough people to plow.
but I'm saying the cost that we're looking at is probably from first quarter, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I
So we
would-
don't expect it to go up
no.
unless there's like a crazy storm in
There's
December.
Probably, yeah, there'll probably be some, I'm assuming there might be something added like in December,
Okay,
but it shouldn't be,
so probably with that, we can expect the fuel to go up too.
And nobody can hire plow truck drivers right now,
Yeah,
so I'm sure that price is just gonna keep increasing, to
Mhm.
try to get people to do it.
the highway supplies is up too. Salt has its own line. So,
oh, we actually look like we're in pretty good shape.
I know,
80%, and it should be 75, that's not bad, especially with as much as salt went up this last year.
I know,
But, well.
It was up like 36% when we voted on it last year, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
but
when
we
we
don't know
go
if
for-
we're sitting on a big inventory, like if the
Yeah.
shed's full or if the shed's empty and we just haven't bought it for this winter yet.
But, I mean, we'll run out of it before this winter's over, and if we gotta buy again,
Yeah.
prices went up on us at work 70% over the last year. So that's gonna go up pretty substantially.
I don't know why it sticks out. I remember like 36% on salt last year with the town coming back.
Yeah,
That's
that's where it
crazy.
started at, but since the beginning of this year, it's gone
Yeah.
up another
Yeah.
35% or something, so it's like 70% total increase in
Yeah.
the last 12 months. It's pretty good, actually. Apparently, the easiest way to tell who's down employees is look at the fuel. Highway fuel's down too.
yep.
So it's drug testing.
Yep. There you go.
So they mowed at the landfill.
They're required to do that. I think there's some federal,
Yeah,
It's some sort of
landfill,
maintenance.
You have to preserve the cap, so you can't let things grow up big enough to puncture through the cap of the landfill. So have to mow it once a year. Equipment maintenance is pretty high.
Yeah, I was just
That
looking
is
at 287.
287.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Wonder if something broke.
man, for all the talk about trash costs, you know, 285 there, the solid waste fees is not as high as they expected.
What is that, 75% roughly, so
Yeah.
75% of the way through the year, they're right on track.
The school I saw was right on track with their disposal stuff too, so that was nice to
I think that was like a hit that, I mean, you can see the 2021 actuals are real huge. Maybe that was something where the price spiked and now it went back down a little bit.
see. Probably.
But I'm sure if you look at 2020, it's probably lower.
And 297 is up about 1,000 with the equipment, stickers, supplies.
Yeah.
What falls under, animal control miscellaneous? That's like 90% of their budget.
Picking up dead animals.
No, is that,
I feel like we asked about
Where are
that.
you seeing that, what line?
No, animal control is, what's above that.
oh, no, wait, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong
General
line.
assistance.
General assistance,
Yeah.
miscellaneous.
299 is the animal control salary. I think we asked about that. Was it like someone there's like someone they call, I
To
think.
come and help them with that, yeah, but they're not like full-time, I don't think.
Gotcha.
Like as a fee basis, maybe?
That I
That's the
vaguely remember
coordinator.
that.
Right?
Hmm?
Wouldn't that be the coordinator?
No, we were talking about the animal control salary.
Yeah,
That or it's just some stipend they give to someone else to be on call to go scrape the animals up.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, is that like through a county or something? I don't know how it works.
I don't know, but being a rural area, the per animal cost is probably pretty low if it's only 2,000.
right.
But anyway, okay, getting back to the actual correct items here that I was trying to say. The general assistance miscellaneous.
Yeah, I don't know
That
what
might be all of the, oh no, that's below there. Because there's all those donations to various things, but those are spelled out.
Yeah,
Um,
I can't think of what that would be.
It seems like a weird way if you're gonna have that many line items in your budget, why is 95% of it hitting miscellaneous?
And that's
Right,
yeah,
right, right.
exactly. Why not just have
Yep.
it all in miscellaneous then?
At that point, I mean, it's,
yeah, that's a question for Chris, unfortunately.
That's a good thing to question, because that's a huge number of
Yep.
of miscellaneous with all the, you know, like you said, all the other line items.
it's over 90% of their budget.
Yeah,
Right.
is
Explain.
nothing that they budgeted for.
What are we talking about?
Right?
They're, you know what? They probably should have been put in those other buckets,
Yeah,
and they were just,
You think they just put them in there, put them in
because
there?
their total isn't too far off, I mean, it's $2,000 off.
But it would be interesting to see where exactly the money's going. That's-
Yeah.
that's the whole point of
Yeah.
having all those line numbers.
Yeah.
Right,
Right.
So we
That's-
know.
That's all I was saying, you know, you just,
Weird way to
why,
do it.
why have all those lines if you're not gonna use them?
right.
Could that be something like COVID tests or something? Like they're handing out
Oh.
COVID tests or masks or
Oh,
something?
come on, you get those from Mr. Biden.
Someone's got to pay for them somewhere. I mean, you can still buy them, but I was just trying to think of something that would be
What it would
miscellaneous
be
that
to-
would spike in 1 year. I don't know.
long.
The freaking knows.
But I mean, what if they're like doing, oh, that wouldn't be, I don't know.
Don't worry, they'll take your insurance card.
I don't have anything else on this one.
Okay,
Oh, I skipped
go to the
ahead.
next one, yeah, one,
23.
323 already, yeah, sorry. Community trail development, oh man, their poor trail got vandalized, sad.
What happened?
The trail back here got vandalized, they put a
So
bunch,
back here.
yeah, they put a bunch of like cool signs up to like display nature and stuff, and someone came and just wrecked it all, they like just destroyed everything.
Oh, lovely.
It was not cool at
Yeah,
all.
they ruined 2 signs or something. I
Yeah,
heard.
Yeah, rip them apart.
Yeah.
Just like spray
As
paint
soon
them
as they
apart.
were put up too.
yeah, like
Yeah.
yeah, really close to the same day. I think it was the last meeting we had, it was like right at that time.
Yeah, John said
It
something.
wasn't that long ago.
I think they did it for the
Yeah.
300 celebration too, so not cool.
Shouldn't kids be like inside playing video games? What's wrong with kids these days?
Who let those kids out of the house?
Don't come back till the sun
Yeah,
goes
you hear
down.
that? Just go home and play video games.
No. I went to the next page, 372.
She doesn't even have your phone.
She brought a book.
Yeah.
We were just, this is so interesting to her. It was just-
I'm surprised you're not asleep.
Landfill interest is just up
Use this for a school project that you've done, some kind of civics or something.
I'm sure we'll work it in somehow. In my defense, Eileen wanted to come, so I didn't drag her. She didn't
Aw,
coerce
nice.
her.
Good
She
for
wanted
you.
to come along.
I love that.
All right, well then it is a school project.
Yeah, yeah.
And it is.
Absolutely.
And so it looks like the total operating budget, they're only at about 63% right now.
Yep. I think they've always been really good, always. And that's why it makes it look, that's why they make the school board look bad.
Yeah. But I think it is easier to budget for the town.
Yeah.
Because the school has, the special ed is a big killer.
Yeah.
And that,
The school has like a million federal regulations.
right, and it's just, yeah, it's ridiculous.
All right.
I always said that, you know, for all the special ed that is federally mandated, that's under, under contributed to or whatever, underfunded. We should just send a bill to the federal government every year for that difference. And just, don't expect anything, but just keep sending those bills.
Let's suggest it to the school
Oh,
board.
I have. I've
Yeah.
been suggesting it for years.
Mhm.
So,
You
I
never
think-
know,
I
Biden
think-
might get
I think
confused
the
and sign
only-
the check.
I think the only way to actually get it to happen is to get on the school board. But, you know,
That's like a be careful what you wish for. I
don't
sat
want
through a
that
4-hour
job.
meeting last night.
I don't
where-
want that
yeah.
job.
That's a tough job.
There's a reason that one pays you.
All right, so what's next?
So moving on, the committee reports, Tom
My
isn't
name's not on there
here.
anymore.
Not here. Capital
Kathy
improvement
left, so
plan.
we're not gonna get that report.
I don't have anything to report. I haven't been notified of anything, but as soon as I do, you guys will be the first to know. Kathy unfortunately left. Any,
Tom's not here.
yep, Kathy's not here, and
We
then
didn't talk about,
John isn't.
this is not on your agenda.
Calendar? It was in
Yeah.
parting thoughts.
Oh, that's in parting
Yeah.
thoughts?
My bad. Okay.
Okay. Pre-parting thoughts?
Yeah, pre-parting thoughts. Has everybody had it? I know I only sent it Tuesday, but has everybody had the chance to look over the calendar? You had a question?
I didn't have a chance to look at it.
Okay. Fine. It was like looming over me the whole time. I was like, man, I have to get that done.
John, maybe you know this. The Conservation Commission has their own section in here of a budget.
Uh-huh.
When they spend that, is that coming out of their fund?
It's a good.
Is that like a budget for themselves for their fund, or does?
No, this is their budget, not, it doesn't come out of the Conservation Commission fund. This
So
is-
you're talking about line 368?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is their budget, their regular budget.
All right.
So the money for the stuff in that fund has to come before the select board, to be expended, and it can only be used to like buy conservation property or stuff like that. It's not for the regular expenses.
Did they buy any land this year?
I think so.
I don't know.
I thought they did.
There should have been
Where
was
would we see
something
that?
there.
Would it
there
be, would
should
it
have
show
been
up
a
here?
hearing if there was.
Okay.
There was something they were trying to buy. I thought they did get it.
I don't know.
There was something I thought they bought something too.
It was something like
Tied to
somewhere
an
around like
easement,
Flutter, Stage, Giles, somewhere in that general
I kind of
area.
am remembering that there was at least talk about buying
Yeah.
something.
When there was expenditure, they agreed to. The town had the warrant article that passed that said to use the conservation fund to pay off the Mulligan Forest balance. And then somehow the conservation committee worked out that they'd only pay half of the balance with the conservation fund, and I think they used I don't know if they used the unassigned fund balance or the town balance or something, but somehow the select board paid the other half. So even though the warrant article said the conservation fund was gonna be used, that was
I
like,
thought that was a great thing to have paid off. but
Right.
then
yeah,
It was like.
well, it's all paid off, it's just that it
Well,
didn't
I
get
know,
paid
but
off the way the
I-
voters said
That's
to.
not the way, yeah, it's not the way we talked about it
Yeah,
being paid off.
but it's paid off,
Okay.
and that was, oh, I don't know, I'm gonna say May, somewhere around there, that got decided, and I don't know when that takes effect, cause there was some talk about like the tax impact on that, like when it would take effect, I don't know.
Okay.
But it's done, that's all been decided and paid off and everything, so.
Okay.
That's one less, debt on the town, and then they paid off the other thing, right? Like the fire department or
There was
something?
the rest of what we owed for the fire department?
Yeah.
Was it the roof? Not the roof.
No, it was for that
Something
building.
else.
It had to be for that building.
Okay. There's so much. Do you wanna vote on the calendar
Yeah.
tonight?
Is there any discussion on it?
Yeah, does anybody have any?
So, they look, the proposal, so what does bold mean again?
Huh?
What does bold mean
Bold.
again? It's on the bottom of that other page that you didn't print.
Hold on.
Those are meetings, I think. The other ones are just dates that to be
Right,
aware
bold-
of.
Yeah, I believe that is correct.
I think
Yeah,
we should,
Bold items are budget committee meetings, non-bold are informal dates, informational dates.
So,
So the bold dates are when we have to mark our calendars to be here.
Yes.
right. This looks good to everybody.
I would recommend sending this stuff to whoever's taken over temporarily for Chris. And just being like, hey, these are when we expect the
Yeah, she put that in the
default and
email.
this stuff, because you don't want that to like slip through the cracks
No.
of the last
She
minute
didn't.
thing.
Kelly do that already?
I
thought
think
Kelly
so.
did that already.
I think
would-
she was waiting for us to finalize the
Oh,
calendar
yeah,
and
she is-
then do
she is
it.
waiting
She
for
did
us to
tell me that.
finalize.
Okay, I don't think it would hurt to have like
No.
a second email
Yeah,
with
no, I mean,
expectations
that is a
in it.
finalization,
But the town usually hasn't given us problems with that.
so. We did that,
We try to make them all Thursdays. I like
Right.
that way better.
right, so the only thing that's a
It's
Tuesday is
Tuesdays.
the town budget hearing.
Yeah.
And potentially that's snow day.
So we'll get 'em, I get to see you guys every week in December.
Busy time.
Yeah. So if this looks good, and we vote this, then I can send it to all the respective committees tonight.
I make a motion to approve the calendar as provided.
I can second that.
All those in favor in accepting the calendar? Awesome. Calendar accepted.
When is the town meeting? For,
So.
Deliberative?
yeah, the town deliberative and then the school
I
deliberative.
don't know if it's been
Last-
scheduled.
Alright, so that's this,
That'll obviously be after the January 26th, right?
This is the SB2
so
March.
last
town
day.
meeting
Should be in
calendar.
February somewhere, usually.
Last day for buying. Oh, it's on the bottom of that page, I think.
January 26th is the last day for the budget committee to deliver the budget and warrant article recommendations. February 4th is the earliest day for the first session deliberative. February 11th is the last day.
So it has to be between the 4th and the 11th, both of them.
Okay. So we don't have an exact date, but between February 4th and February 11th.
Right, that's not for us to determine.
And there's no way we could put a little pressure on the school to get us their budget sooner?
Oh, yeah,
This is the pressure that we can,
tell them.
that's what we're expecting. This is what we expect.
Yeah.
You know, and this is, right, this is what we expect. So, school final proposed budget request, January 5th, that would include, any contract negotiations.
Seems awfully late.
That's when we meet
That's-
to discuss it, right?
That's-
And they,
Yeah, yeah.
but do we wanna give them a hard deadline like a week before, just so that we have time to read it and look it over?
Well, I mean,
It's not a
basically,
bad idea.
basically, we should have really close stuff by December 22nd.
That's the Thursday, the school budget draft and default budget updates.
Last year, we got things on the night of our meeting.
I know,
remember that.
And that's
well,
not acceptable.
And that's, yeah, right, no, that's not acceptable.
Cause if you wanna go through it like one page at a time, that really works if we've got it a week ahead of time when we can
Yeah.
make
Yeah.
notes and everything, but when we get it just
Absolutely,
dropped
because
on.
when you're
yeah.
going through it
Yep.
one bit at a time, you've looked at it at
So-
home, so everybody's got the things with their notes, with
we
their
just have to
questions.
stress it
Yeah.
to them.
Well, maybe what we shouldn't provide them is this with the dates of our meetings. Maybe we should provide them a separate list with request dates that
due
are,
dates.
say, a week before this. Because if they're just getting this and looking at this, they might just be getting, you know, December 29th stuck in their head or
In
whatever.
my email, I can ask them to, you know, these are the dates that we wanna discuss it, but we
Right,
would like
we-
to have hard dates by,
We need at least a few days ahead.
Or maybe we could put in a column, you know, materials due, and just
Yes,
predate it all by,
materials due, that's good.
predate it all for the Monday or something, so at least we get, or the Friday before, so we at least get something.
Right. The Friday before would be great.
Do you want to make a motion to that effect?
You know, but
Yes, sorry, I will make a motion to amend the calendar to add a materials due date for 6 days in advance of the meeting date.
What do we do if they don't turn it in that date?
Write them a very angry worded letter.
I would suggest that we just have an alternate budget prepared.
so that's December 16th. So if our
Oh.
meeting is on the 22nd, then we would wanna have it that Friday before, so that's the 16th. So Friday before, December 16th is when we would like the budget draft sent to us. Right?
Yep.
Yes, please.
Budget draft sent. That was a
And we-
motion on the floor?
The same rules would be for the town. The town always complies, but the same rules would apply to the town.
All right. Do you want me to say that then in the email too, the 15th, so that's a Thursday, so the Friday before would be the 9th?
Yep,
Yeah.
that'd be great. I'll second
Yep.
your motion.
9th. All right, all those in favor to the modifications of the calendar? Aye.
Alright.
Budget draft sent to us. Like it? All right. So I just want to bring up too, I like that you're going to the school board meetings. I think it's awesome. But if we're gonna have a representative from the budget committee, I think we should vote on
Oh, I'm not there.
actual representative.
I'm not there as a,
Okay.
I'm just
Okay.
going, I was going to sort out this whole Article 24 thing. I
Okay.
don't really want to
I-
keep going to
I
every
just-
school board meeting.
I think it's wise that one of us or something, it's good
I
that
love
one
it.
of us goes to that meeting.
I agree.
Then we really know what was said.
And last year, I think we all did a really good job of showing up.
And it doesn't need to be Tom all the time, but some one of us should make an effort to get there.
I just think,
I think it should be Tom every time.
yeah.
I have,
But if
I'm
anyone's
gonna
gonna
go
speak on
again,
our
so.
behalf, I
You're
think we
going
should
to go
vote on
again,
that.
right?
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
and it does help because I can, like, last night I told Kathy, I said, hey, well, I didn't even say Kathy, I said, you know, we would like this in Excel, and I'm telling you now because otherwise I'm gonna have to tell Kathy the next night and she's gonna have to come back and tell you, and rather than go back and forth, it's easier for me to just go there and say, look, this is what
Right.
people on budget are expecting.
That's what we expect.
Yeah,
All right.
We shouldn't have to say that, but I'm glad you did.
but no, I'm going there as a private citizen, not as a official budget committee representative.
I
Unless we
wanted to
can
make sure
get,
it was said, we don't
unless
wanna
you can
say-
get me on the school board as the official voting member from the budget committee, that would be
No, that,
No,
hilarious.
that won't- that I don't
can't
think-
fly. That,
I don't think the rest of the school board, the majority of the school
you'd have
board
to
would
just
like
get on
that.
No, they
you
wouldn't.
would
Are you
have to
kidding
get on
me?
the school board itself.
Yeah, that's too much work.
All right. Does anybody else have any parting thoughts for the group?
What do we think about this, the school's plan to do solar panels? Do you think that it can actually save money? Because
We haven't
I
solved
priced
the
them out for my
problem.
house again recently and I still can't save
We
money.
haven't solved the problem of like space yet, have we? Like what? I
No.
remember we're moving on to solar now, like.
They had some sort of,
There's too many trees.
they had some sort of space thing that they were gonna pursue, but it's obviously not, it's either not to fruition yet, or it's not something that's gonna require a bond. So it may be like a modulars or something like that, I don't know, I've heard a few things here and there. But it seems to me like what they've been doing ever since the last edition got voted down, that they've been looking at ways of creatively using their space and kinda, they've made do with what they have.
Okay.
And it seems to be going pretty well from what I heard. But yeah, the solar thing, they want to do it to offset the rising energy bill. But obviously, it's not a good idea to put a bunch of panels on an old roof, and the
Right.
roof is already, reaching the end of the life apparently. So they're saying like, well, if we wanted to do solar, we'd have to redo the roof, and that's obviously a very major expense too. So you're talking two major expenses rolled
Right
into
back to
one.
back.
Yeah.
Cut down a bunch of trees, put up, its own grid.
Well, I would hope if they do it, that they at least own the solar panels, not like the bad deal that they got here where we don't own the panels and we're forced to buy power from the solar company. And then when the panels get old and maintenance issues start to crop up, then we have the right to purchase them back from the company.
It'd be interesting to see what other schools are doing too with their solar, because, I mean, we're gonna be faced with it to make the decision, yay or nay, soon anyways, so.
Well, I wouldn't look to the schools. I would just look to other people, like private companies that own big flat roof buildings or something, right? Because
Yeah.
if they're doing it, it means it actually makes financial sense. If a school's doing it, it doesn't mean it makes financial sense. It means it's a feel-good thing, or they got some sort of special tax
Well,
break
what
or
do you think
something.
about it?
I mean, if it makes sense, do it, right? I mean, if it's gonna.
Depends where the numbers
yeah.
lie, I would say.
Yeah.
If you have a compelling case that if we spend $1 million on this, it'll save us $3 million every 10 years, great, that sounds like a good plan. But, if it only makes sense when you have some sort of fudge factor for environmental feel-good. then-
Right, I don't wanna do it.
Sandra, how's Michael doing with his solar? Does he,
I haven't really been in touch with him that much.
no? I thought he lived next door.
He does live next door, and sometimes we see each other all the time, and then sometimes we don't so much. He has a new lady in his life, and they went out to Washington, and he was out there for about a month or so visiting with his
Washington
family. And then my husband and I went to Prince Edward Island, and we were there for 2 or 3 weeks, so we just, more or less that kind of thing.
It was more of the general reference of, I know he's got solar.
I hate to interrupt, but I move to adjourn,
He,
just so that we can continue private conversations.
Of all
Yeah,
That's
Oh, come
fine.
on.
That
Alright,
was more on the I was trying to ask about the solar,
I know,
the follow-up.
but we were turning into,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, you're right.
And we might as well
All
just
right.
adjourn,
Make a
yeah.
motion,
Second.
all those in favor? Awesome, so the new,